Yay or Nay Show with Alex C. A sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. And now, here is Alex C.
All right, here we go. It is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C., a sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. I meant to talk about this a couple of days ago. I called this the dumb debate. The dumb debate is Baker Mayfield. Not necessarily going to go into whether they should or should not extend him. Of course, you got a lot of people on the yay side. They should extend him. Cleveland wasn't a winner before him. Since he arrived, now they're a winner. They're actually making the playoffs. They're more competitive. And some of those things, for the most part, are actually true. They're probably not going to make the playoffs this year. He's regressing. He's getting worse. He's still a bad decision maker. He's still immature. He is immature in this respect because this kind of goes along with what I want to talk about when it comes to, again, what I'm calling the dumb debate. And the dumb debate is, should Baker Mayfield be playing right now, right? So he's making all the excuses in the world, right? Oh, I'm injured. I got a shoulder. I got a knee. I got this. I got that. Okay, great. Let's play devil's advocate and say that all these complaints and injuries that Baker Mayfield is relaying to the media are in fact accurate. Okay, we've watched him play for several weeks now. He's looked like garbage. The offense doesn't move. Remember, everybody was jumping up and down, saying how great they looked, and it was all because OBJ was gone, and remember all that? And then I told you, no, it wasn't OBJ. It was the bad competition they were facing that particular week. And that watch how in future weeks you're going to see that the OBJ being gone is not a factor, that offense is still going to be bad. It's easy to look good when you're playing against a low level of competition. Once that level of competition raises a little bit, you're going to see that offense is still the bad offense that it has always been, because I keep calling them the brown bag Browns. Cleveland fans, put your brown bags back on. The losing Cleveland Browns are back, and they're not going to make the playoffs this year. Now, with that being said, the debate has become, a lot of people have praised in the national media, praising Baker Mayfield for first and foremost admitting that he's injured, and then secondly, continuing to try and play through the injuries. Now, again, I don't know. Again, that's the disconnect between the media and fans. As fans, we only want one thing and one thing only. We want to win, and we only worry about winning. We don't want to hear excuses. We don't want to watch garbage on the field. If you're not well, you shouldn't be on the field. And notice what I just said. If you're not well, you should not be on the field, especially when you cannot help a team win. Baker Mayfield should not be on the field because he cannot help his team win. He's playing like garbage. He looks like garbage. The offense looks like garbage. And the reason why they look like garbage is Baker Mayfield is not helping his team in any way, shape, or form by trying to play through these injuries just to prove that he's a man's man. Because you can be a man's man all you want to, but a man's man isn't winning football games, is it, Baker Mayfield? You're looking really, really childish trying to be out there and prove that you're a man, and yet I don't know how you're proving you're a man, because a real man would be out there winning football games, but you're not winning football games because you're not man enough to play through the injuries and still be able to perform at the level needed to win an NFL football game. So in reality, while you think you're proving you're a man, Baker Mayfield, you're not, because you're not man enough to play through the injuries and be able to win football games. Therefore, your definition of man is different from my definition of being a man. That is 100% factual. Because again, if you're a man, if you're out there trying to prove that you're a man, then you should be winning football games, not losing and then whining like a child saying that I'm injured, but I'm still out there trying to help my team, when in fact you're doing nothing but hinder your team's ability to be able to compete and win football games because you're injured. It's called bad decision making. It's called being immature, something that Baker Mayfield continues to do. And again, so I get confused when I hear the national media sit there and they try to tell you how Baker Mayfield what a job he's doing playing through these injuries and how it would not be in the best interest of Cleveland to go to the backup quarterback when Baker Mayfield is better than the backup quarterback. Now, first and foremost, I disagree with the assessment that Baker is better than the backup, number one. Number two, how can you be better than the backup when the backup's healthy and you're not? Number three, your injured Baker Mayfield has continued to play games, and that offense has continued to suffer because he can't get it done because, again, he's making a bad decision, trying to prove he's a man, trying to be out on the field, trying to show everybody that he's worth the $250 million that he's going to try and command in an extension, which, by the way, he's not worth, even if he was healthy. And he's just out there trying to prove he's worth the money when, again, how are you worth the money when you're just losing your team football games? And again, when the backup was in the first time when Baker was hurt, they won. Baker comes back, you're seeing the result. I don't care if a player, and fans don't care, if a player wants to play through injuries. If you can't perform at a level that allows your team to win football games, then you're not doing anybody any favors by being on the football field. That is why I call this the dumb debate. I don't understand why national media guys want to praise him and say what a great thing Baker Mayfield is doing by being on the field when you're not winning. And you're not winning because of the miserable play of Baker Mayfield. I would debate any national media guy anytime, any place, anywhere in regards to this particular topic because you are wrong. It doesn't make any sense. That's like saying I got a car that is more powerful and gets better gas mileage, but I've got two bad tires and I need to take a 356-mile trip. And I'd rather drive that car than drive a car that gets worse gas mileage and has perfect tires, but I want to take the car that has the two injured tires because it's more powerful and it gets better gas mileage. Which car would you drive? Obviously, you drive the one that gets worse gas mileage but has the better tires, right? Well, then why wouldn't you do the same thing with your NFL quarterback? See how their logic makes absolutely zero sense in any way, shape, or form? Zero sense in any way, shape, or form. Again, the dumb debate. Baker Mayfield, if he really wanted to help his team, he would sit on the sideline, he'd try and get healthy, and if he can't get healthy, he would simply just check himself out and let Cleveland move on with the backup quarterback, who, by the way, while he may not be necessarily skill set wise better than Baker Mayfield, I could make the argument that he has better decision making and that the team is more effective with the backup than with Baker Mayfield, because Baker Mayfield needs all the weapons at his disposal: Chubb, receivers, defense, offensive line. He needs all those things in order for him to be able to perform. The backup for Cleveland, from what I've seen so far, he does okay when he's limited. So I'm just saying it's a better move for the Cleveland Browns to go ahead and start the backup versus starting Baker Mayfield. Matter of fact, I would also argue that if you look at it from, again, because certain guys in the national media have said that it's just a lateral sideways move to go from starter to Baker. From Baker to the backup. So if it's just a lateral move and you're just going sideways and they're both kind of even in regards to skill sets, and some would say it's a minor drop off in skill sets. So let's go with that and say it's a minor drop off in skill sets. If it's a minor drop off in skill sets, but yet one's healthy and one's not, obviously the better move as a coach in this situation is to go with the healthy guy. Why is the coach not jumping in and making that decision? Why are they allowing the quarterback, Baker Mayfield, to make this decision? It should not be his decision to make. It should be the coach. It should be the doctors. We've seen enough on the field to know that he can't get it done while he's suffering through these injuries, and he's making the fans suffer through losses, and he's making the teams suffer through the inability to be able to move that offense forward. This is why I call it the dumb debate. and it is dumb. All right, moving over to the NBA really quickly. Phoenix Suns went for number 17 last night. Got it. Won. Beat Golden State. It was a good game. Golden State fought hard. Suns fought harder. In the end, Suns win their 17th in a row, and for the month of November, go 16-0. Arguably, right now, the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA. And isn't that amazing? Because all the national media guys were screaming how the LA Lakers were the odds-on favorite and the best team in the NBA, and yet they're barely at 500 and looking horrible and old and everything that I said they would when this announcement was made about who their roster was going to be. They are nowhere near the best team in the NBA. Suns by far are superior to the LA Lakers, as are most of the teams in the NBA. Another thing, Arizona Cardinals exit their holiday bye week as Super Bowl favorites as we transition back into the NFL. Arizona Cardinals are the odds-on favorite as Super Bowl favorites right now, according to some people at the Four Letter Network. Again, some people, not all. A lot of people still have Green Bay at the top, which is fine. No argument there. Amazing how everybody has jumped off the Dallas Cowboy train, and yet they're acting as if there was nothing wrong with them screaming how Dallas Cowboys were the best team in the NFL. I don't get it. Again, credibility is a thing with me. When you scream a team is the best, and then all of a sudden you get proven wrong, and you try to act like you never were really all in, that somehow the Cowboys seem to always find a way to get their season derailed, and acting as if it's not you who made a bad pick, it's the Dallas Cowboys that always find a way to derail their own season. That's hilarious to me because, folks, that should be included when you're making your picks in regards to who is the best team. Instead of acting as if you're surprised and it's not on you for making the pick because on paper they have the best roster, which, by the way, they do not have the best roster on paper. They do not have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Dak Prescott is not an elite quarterback in the NFL. He's a good quarterback. He's in the top 20 in regards to current quarterbacks. He is not an elite quarterback in the NFL. So to act as if the Dallas Cowboys somehow miraculously find a way to derail their season, and it's not on you because you had them picked correctly, but the Cowboys themselves have somehow shot themselves in the foot. No, it's because the Cowboys were never that good to begin with. And if you were paying attention to football, you would have noticed they can't beat teams with winning records. They haven't won any games against anybody who's going to the playoffs. And now, even though you're still trying to say they're going to make the playoffs, and you're still trying to say teams should watch out for them if they have to play the Cowboys in the playoffs, you're just making yourself look bad and continuing to hurt your credibility by screaming Cowboy stuff that you know isn't true. And again, or maybe you do think it's true. I don't know, because again, it's confusing because you say it, and then when you see how bad the Cowboys are, now you're acting as if, well, it's the Cowboys just shooting themselves in the foot. They really are one of the best teams in the NFL, but it's just the Cowboys shooting themselves in the foot. But no, it's not. It's the Cowboys being the Cowboys, which is not very good. And as long as Jerry Jones is calling the shots, he's the general manager and he's the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, he is the Achilles heel to the team, and they will never win a Super Bowl under Jerry Jones. Why? Because he doesn't hire real coaches. He only wants yes men. He only lets people who will say yes to whatever he wants work for him. And because of that fact, that's why the Dallas Cowboys will never have a shot at winning a Super Bowl under his tenure as owner. So when he's gone and he's moved on, and there is somebody else in the ownership role of the Dallas Cowboys, then maybe we'll have a different conversation. But as long as he's the owner, he is one of the Achilles heels. And that roster, despite what the national media tries to tell you in regards to the Dallas Cowboys, is not one of the best rosters in the NFL. There's nobody on that team that I would say is worth a large contract and should be moved over to another winning team because they would be a difference maker. Absolutely not. Except maybe with the exception of, even though he's not elite, you could take Dak Prescott and put him on another team, and he could maybe push him over the top if they had a fully loaded roster. Absolutely. But as far as moving any of the receivers, borderline to now being a playoff team or a playoff team to now moving into an NFL Super Bowl favorite, none of these players have the ability to be that for any other team in the NFL. So that tells you this is not a fully loaded roster. That should be the criteria for being able to say somebody has a fully loaded roster when you could remove players, take them and put them on another team, and then they could somehow be the reason why that team has now went from being a borderline playoff team to a playoff team, or a playoff team to now being in contention for an odds-on favorite Super Bowl contender. That is when you know you have a fully loaded roster in the NFL. I don't know where these guys get the idea that the Cowboys have this roster that is just so unbelievable. And, they can't believe how this roster is losing football games. And that when this roster is 100% healthy, there's somebody that everybody should fear if they have to play in the playoffs. That to me is a joke because, again, the Cardinals would blow away a fully loaded roster. According to what you guys in the four-letter network and other networks are saying, the Cardinals would blow away the Cowboys if they meet them in the playoffs. So you can't tell me the Cowboys are the best team or one of the best teams, or if they were healthy, they would be and are the best team in the NFL. Again, Cardinals, though, however, finally getting a little respect. Again, I'm not a Cardinal fan. I'm a 49er fan, but I've been saying all season long, the Cardinals, the most disrespected team in the NFL. Cardinals finally getting their respect as a Super Bowl favorite, and it's about time because they've earned it. They've won games they shouldn't have won. They've won games with their backup quarterback. Isn't it amazing how winning teams like the Cardinals can win without their starters, but when the Cowboys can't win without their starters, it's an excuse as to why the Cowboys can't win, but yet they can't explain why other teams can win without their starters. Green Bay, Arizona, winning teams. Teams that are doing it, teams that are going to the playoffs, teams that have a shot at making a run to the Super Bowl. But the Cowboys can't do it without their starters, and everybody wants to use that as the excuse. Shouldn't that right there tell you that the Cowboys are not one of the top teams in the NFL? And Tampa Bay, same thing. You guys do the same thing with Tom Brady and Tampa Bay. You make excuses about how they're missing, and they're not even missing a ton of people. You're talking about one guy, what, Antonio Brown? And he's not even a big deal with that offense. And you're talking about he's missing one guy, one wide receiver, Gronkowski, a tight end. They're not missing him now, but they were. But then when he got back, you guys said he wasn't healthy enough. Now he's getting healthy. Now you guys are saying that he needs to have a fully loaded roster, 100% healthy, and without it, the Buccaneers can't win, and you make excuses for the Buccaneers like you make excuses for the Cowboys. The reason why they're not winning is because they're not healthy, but yet you have the Cardinals, you have the Packers, not 100% healthy, still continuing to win. Tennessee Titans, still competing, still winning, without a 100% roster in regards to health. But when it comes to the Bucs, when it comes to the Cowboys, they lose. You use that as an excuse. Makes no sense. The argument has no merit. You either do or you do not have a roster. You either do or do not have a coach that is competent, that can get his team ready week in and week out. Now, here we go. College football talk. Michigan romps its way to college football playoff top 4, joining Georgia, Alabama, Cincinnati. Now, I'll say this. I don't think Cincinnati should be in there. Again, they're not good enough to play against Georgia, against Alabama, or Michigan. They're not good enough. They get blown out. And that should be one of the things that the committee takes into play when they're deciding who the top 4 are going to be, because you're talking about the top 4 elite in college football. Cincinnati's not it. Now, Oklahoma State beating Oklahoma, having a really good schedule, and winning the convincing way they have won throughout most of the season, I think should surpass Cincinnati. And it should be Michigan, it should be Oklahoma State, Alabama, Georgia, and I'll make the argument if Alabama loses, and I believe they will, if Alabama loses to Georgia, then Alabama should get knocked out. You should not have a 2-loss team in there just because they're from the SEC. And then maybe because of the way the rankings are, you could have Cincinnati in there along with Oklahoma State. But I would probably, if it were me, still bounce Cincinnati out, and I would have it be Michigan, Georgia, I would have Oklahoma State, and I'd probably plop up Notre Dame and let them join the top 4. Now, I know there's a question in regards to can they because of the coaching situation. And everybody's been talking about that all morning long, and everybody wants to criticize the coach for leaving, and I don't think there's any criticism warranted because, again, money talks. He left because of money. They probably gave him no choice and told him, look, we don't got time. Recruiting is right around the corner. It's time to get busy with it. You're either coming or you're not. And he left to go to LSU because it was the smart play for his career. I don't see what the big deal is. I really don't. Coaches leave all the time when it comes to playoff time. And the chances of Notre Dame making it to the playoff are slim to none in all reality. But again, if it were going to happen and it were me in the committee, I would have them in already, and it would be Georgia, it would be Michigan, and it would be Notre Dame, and it would be Oklahoma State. But in the end, I don't think they're going to get rid of Cincinnati, so it'll probably be Georgia, it'll be Cincinnati, it'll be Michigan, and that's probably in the 4th position going to end up being Oklahoma State, which would leave Notre Dame out. But again, time will tell. We'll see. I don't really understand moving on to that topic in regards to Notre Dame's former coach leaving to LSU. I don't see why that's a big deal. And I don't see, because somebody made the dumb remark about, well, the NCAA should really step in because a coach shouldn't be leaving when you have a team that possibly could be going to the college playoff. No, nobody has the right to tell somebody that they need to hang on to a job. Nobody has the right to tell somebody that they can't quit a job, right? I don't understand where this 4-letter network commentator gets his ideas from that the NCAA should have a right to step in and tell a coach he has to stay and coach. That's dumb. If the coach is mad and you pee him off, why is he going to stay and coach and do a good job anyways? You're basically just giving that team suicide because the coach, he's not going to do his best. He's just going to go through the motions. Who cares? I'm leaving anyways. And that's just the way it's going to be. So you would be a dummy to say that the NCAA should stick their nose in and try, when they don't have the legal right to anyways, and tell a coach that they need to keep their job and hang on to their job just because a team could potentially be going bowling or on their way to the college playoff. If they decide to leave, they deserve to leave. It's simple. Nobody has a right to tell somebody that they have to hang on to a job. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Again, I question the credibility of a lot of these guys that go on the 4-letter network and commentate and make comments anyway. They say a lot of outlandish garbage that makes no sense. And most of the time, the outlandish garbage comes from weekend guys. But nonetheless, it makes no sense, and it lends no credibility to your network when you make stupid comments like that. Because, again, there's no way that you could tell me that legally the NCAA has a right to go and tell a coach that he can't leave just because his team could possibly make it into the college playoff. That doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form at all. I don't even understand where they get the idea that the NCAA has a legal standing to tell a coach, oh, you can't quit, you can't leave, you have to stay, you have to coach. You don't get that over $100 million job because you have to stay and coach this team through the college playoffs. And then, first of all, what if the team doesn't make the college playoffs? Now you told this coach he can't take a $100 million job. I mean, the guy who made this comment, again, I don't know. I don't even know who made the comment. It was just something I heard on a little promo they were running on the 4-letter network. But whoever made the comment, absolutely stupid. The comment is stupid. Absolutely. There's no politically correct way to say it. That was just outright 100% stupid. All right. Now, Major League Baseball. Players Union, they're no closer with collective bargaining agreement. It's set to expire tonight at 11:59. So MLB and the Players Union, they're going at it. They're trying to work it out. We could be on our way to another lockout. I don't know the details in regards to a lockout, how long they think it will last. I'm not even sure where they're away in regards to this deal. But we'll definitely get into it tomorrow. I'll do more of the research. We'll wait till tonight to see if there actually is going to be a lockout as well. I got a couple of stories, but I haven't read them as of yet. So I would be probably, sounding like a dummy if I try to really go deep in on this particular topic. But again, tonight, 11:59, the current agreement is over. It does not look like they're going to get a new agreement in place by tonight. That does not necessarily mean we're going to have a delay in regards to the baseball season or anything along that lines, and I sure as heck hope we don't. But first things first, let's see if today plays out with no agreement, and then we, in fact, do work our way towards a lockout. And then let's see what comes out information-wise tomorrow in regards to what everybody thinks the potential length of a lockout is, or, again, if it will, in fact, impede on this season at all. Maybe it won't. Maybe they think it's just something that, on paper it'll be a lockout, but we're still going to open up spring training on time. I don't know. Again, I have a lot to read. I don't want to sound like, this guy who's trying to talk about something that knows absolutely nothing about it. I would rather tell you up front, I'm not well versed in this. I wasn't sure if this was going to happen, so I kind of didn't think it was going to happen, and I kind of let it go and didn't really research it. Now that we're here, now that we're on the day of, I'll start you the research. We'll definitely talk about it on tomorrow's show. All right, so that's going to do it for me today. Again, research in regards to MLB, the negotiations going on with the Players Union. I will get that done. We'll see what happens tonight, 11:59. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more tomorrow. You have a great day.